like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I know you're probably thinking about turkey and all the sides, but we're serving up a different kind of Thanksgiving feast here.
That's right.
We're diving deep
Yeah.
into the Thanksgiving Day NFL inactives lists.
We're going to go beyond the touchdowns and really uncover the hidden stories that these lists tell us about, player health and some of the coaching decisions that are being made.
I like it.
A little Thanksgiving drama.
Oh, yeah, a little bit of drama. Never hurt anybody, right?
Yeah.
So we got 3 games on the menu today. Lions versus Bears in the early game.
Right.
Cowboys and Giants in the late game.
Yep.
And to finish things off, we got Packers and Dolphins.
Yeah, so let's kind of set the scene for these matchups before we jump into the inactives.
I like it.
So Detroit's looking really good right now, 10-1.
Yeah.
And they're facing the Bears, who are 4-7.
Oof.
So that's going to be an interesting one to see if the Bears can pull off an upset.
Yeah.
And then we've got the Cowboys and the Giants, both struggling this season, 4-7 and 2-9. Really a battle for pride at this point more than anything.
Yeah.
And then finally, we've got Green Bay at 8-3, looking comfortable.
Yeah.
Against Miami's 5-6 record.
I noticed something interesting in one of our sources, actually. It was Steelers Depot.
Oh,
they wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's nice. Even though they're not playing today,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving football is such a big tradition. It's always great when they acknowledge it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So we have the full inactives list for the Bears and Lions game.
Okay.
But for the other games, we're still waiting.
Right. And that's because teams aren't required to release those lists at the same time.
Interesting.
Some coaches like to wait as long as possible, hoping to keep their opponents guessing.
Oh, so a little bit of gamesmanship.
Exactly. A little bit of strategy involved there.
I like that. Okay, let's break down this Bears-Lions matchup then.
That was good.
The Bears are missing 2 key offensive linemen, Kieran Magaji and Ryan Bates.
So that's a pretty big deal. Imagine the offensive line as the fortress protecting the quarterback.
Yeah.
2 of their defenders are out. The Bears quarterback's going to be much more vulnerable to that Lions defense.
So it's almost like they're giving the Lions a blueprint for how to attack, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. They're going to need to get creative to keep their quarterback upright.
Yeah.
And on the defensive side, losing Dominique Robinson at defensive end could hurt their run defense, especially against a Lions team that loves to run the ball.
For sure. For sure. Now on the other side, the Lions, it's interesting because they're missing not 1, not 2, but 3 offensive tackles.
Wow.
Coyote Owasika, Taylor Decker.
Wow, that's a lot.
Giovanni Manu, and Colby Sorsdahl.
That's a huge chunk of their offensive line.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, is this just bad luck with injuries? Or is there something else going on? Maybe a calculated move by the coaching staff?
Yeah. And I'm no coach or anything, but I feel like that's a big weakness that the Bears could exploit.
Exactly. If you were the Bears coach, you'd be lipping your chops right now.
Oh, yeah.
Sending your best pass rushers after that quarterback, trying to take advantage of that weakened protection.
So what can the Lions even do? I mean, do they just surrender at that point?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, they could try to adapt their game plan, maybe focus on shorter passes.
Okay.
Or run the ball more to control the clock and protect their quarterback. It'll be really interesting to see how they adjust.
See, this is what I love about the inactives list. It's just a little window into the strategy.
It really is. It's like a chess match between the coaches, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It's not just about who's playing, but how those absences force both teams to adapt and rethink their strategies.
Absolutely. So for all of you listening at home, think about this. If you were the Bears coach, what would you do?
Right.
How would you try to take advantage of that situation over on the Lions?
It's a real-time football strategy puzzle.
It really is. And remember, this is just the first game.
Yeah.
You've got 2 more
Then we're good.
inactives lists to break down.
And who knows what surprises are in store.
All right, so let's move on, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's go to our next Thanksgiving showdown. The Cowboys hosting the Giants. Okay, so this next matchup is the Dallas Cowboys hosting the New York Giants.
Yeah.
And this one's a little different.
Yeah, definitely. Both these teams are struggling right now. The Cowboys are at 4-7.
Yeah.
And the Giants at 2-9.
Oof.
So it's less about, playoff hopes at this point.
Yeah.
And more about just avoiding that last place finish.
Yeah. Nobody wants to be the leftovers.
Exactly. And when teams are desperate, you never know what might happen, right?
Yeah, that's true. So speaking of things happening, we just got the inactives lists for this game.
Perfect timing.
Okay.
Let's see what we got.
All right.
So the Giants are missing some key defensive players.
Okay.
Azeez Ojulari, Xavier McKinney, and Adoree Jackson are all out.
So no offensive linemen this time, huh? I was starting to see a trend there.
Nope. Looks like they've got their offensive line intact for this one.
Okay.
But those defensive absences could really hurt them, especially against a Cowboys team that has a pretty potent offense.
Yeah. If the Cowboys are smart, they'll try to exploit those weaknesses in the Giants' secondary. Air it out and go for those big plays.
You'd think so, right?
Yeah.
But remember, the Giants know that the Cowboys know this.
Yeah.
It's like a game of chess. They might try to compensate with different defensive schemes or more blitzing to try to make up for those missing players.
Yeah. This is what I love about the inactives. It adds this whole other layer of intrigue to the game.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that coaching decisions, play a huge role in how a game unfolds.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at the Cowboys inactives.
Okay.
They are missing
Yeah.
Dak Prescott.
Oh, wow.
Their starting quarterback, what happened?
Yeah. So he's been dealing with a calf injury, and it seems like the Cowboys have decided to rest him for this game. They're probably thinking long-term here, especially since this game doesn't have huge playoff implications for them.
So is it Cooper Rush time again?
It looks like it.
All right.
Yeah. He filled in admirably last season when Prescott was out.
Yeah, he did.
So this could be another chance for him to shine.
So for the listeners out there who maybe aren't diehard Cowboys fans, can you explain why Dak being out is such a big deal?
Sure. So Dak Prescott is the leader of that Cowboys offense. He makes plays happen both with his arm and with his legs.
Yeah.
And without him, their entire game plan has to shift.
Yeah, it's like Thanksgiving dinner without the turkey, right? You can still have all the sides,
Exactly.
but it's just not the same.
It's not the same. And that's why, understanding these inactives is so important.
Yeah.
It's not just about knowing who's playing. It's about understanding how those absences can really ripple through a team's strategy and their overall performance.
It really does. All right, so we've covered 2 games.
Yes.
2 fascinating sets of inactives. And I'm officially hooked on this detective work.
Me too. And we've got one more to go. The Green Bay Packers versus the Miami Dolphins.
The suspense is killing me right now because those inactives are still top secret.
Yeah, while we wait, let's speculate a little bit. Who are some of the key players on each team that, if they were out, would really change the complexion of this game?
Well, I'm thinking for Green Bay, losing Aaron Jones would be a big blow. He's such a dynamic running back,
I agree. And on defense cornerback, Jerry Alexander's a lockdown defender. If he's out, that could create some opportunities for those Miami receivers.
Yeah, and for the Dolphins, I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill if he's out. That's a huge deal.
Oh, without a doubt. He's their biggest offensive weapon. If Hill's not out there stretching the field, the Dolphins' offense looks completely different.
It's almost like, comparing these teams to a Thanksgiving feast. Like Tyreek Hill, he's the turkey. He's the main attraction.
That's a great analogy.
And then all the other players are kind of like those delicious side dishes that complement the main course.
Ooh.
So while we wait for those lists to drop, let's imagine ourselves in the coach's shoes for a second.
Okay.
What factors do you think they consider when they're deciding who to put on that inactives list?
Well, it's a really complex decision.
Yeah.
They have to weigh player health, obviously strategic matchups, and then the overall impact on the team's performance. So it's not an easy call.
Yeah, and sometimes those decisions, can really make or break a game, especially on a day as big as Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. Every game counts in the NFL, but there's something special about playing on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's a chance to showcase your team to a national audience and create some lasting memories.
Yeah, for sure. So for everyone listening, as you're getting ready for that second helping of stuffing, keep those inactives in mind.
Right.
Because they might just give you a clue about how the final game of the night is going to unfold.
And speaking of unfolding, we'll be back after a quick break to reveal those final inactives lists and break down this last Thanksgiving showdown.
Okay, we are back, and we finally have that inactives list.
Yes, for the Green Bay Packers versus Miami Dolphins.
It feels like Christmas morning.
It really does.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is the biggest surprise of the day, for sure.
Yeah.
Miami Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh, no.
Raheem Mostert and Jalen Waddle are all out.
Talk about a Thanksgiving Day bombshell. Losing your starting quarterback and 2 of your most explosive offensive weapons, that is going to be tough to overcome.
What are they going to do?
It's like trying to bake a pie without any filling,
Yeah, they're going to have to pull out all the stops.
They'll need to get creative, for sure.
Yeah. What do you think their game plan's going to be at this point?
Well, I think they're going to have to lean heavily on their running game.
Oh.
Maybe try to, create some mismatches with their tight ends.
Uh-huh.
Whatever they do, it's going to be an uphill battle.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Now, let's look at the Packers side.
Okay.
They're missing Rashawn Gary, Darnell Savage, and Christian Watson.
Okay, so those are significant losses for sure for Green Bay, but not quite as devastating as Miami's situation.
Losing Gary on that defensive line is a blow, but they still have a pretty solid defense overall.
Okay.
And while Watson is a talented receiver, they do have other options in the passing game.
So you're saying Packers have got this one in the bag?
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
You know, football's a game of surprises.
True.
And Miami just might rally and give them a run for their money.
Yeah.
You know, plus the Packers still need to find a way to score those points without Watson.
That is true. I guess that's why they play the game, right?
Exactly. You just never know what's going to happen until those players hit the field.
Well, for everyone listening, what should they be watching for in this last Thanksgiving showdown? What are the key takeaways here?
Well, for Miami, it's all about how they respond to this adversity.
Yeah.
Can their backup quarterback step up?
Yeah.
Can they find a way to move the ball without, their star players?
Yeah.
And for Green Bay,
Yeah.
it's about staying focused and not taking Miami lightly. They need to execute their game plan and take advantage of those weaknesses.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. I have a feeling this one's going to be, fuel for the Thanksgiving table debate.
It wouldn't be Thanksgiving without a little football controversy, right?
That's very true. Well, there you have it, folks.
That's it.
We dissected all 3 Thanksgiving Day inactives lists.
Yes, we did.
Uncovered the hidden stories and explored, just what it all means.
We really went from that opening kickoff all the way to the final whistle, analyzing these lists like true football detectives.
We really did, and we hope this deep dive gave you a new appreciation for just how complex this game is.
And maybe, even gave you some ammo for those Thanksgiving Day football debates.
Oh, yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy the games. And we'll see you next time for another deep dive into a fascinating topic.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till